Good morning, and welcome to Financial Optimist. And today, I want to discuss the topic known as don't squander good times. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're someone that ever has a year of your life where things are going pretty good, you've got a good paying job, you're making payments on all your bills, everything's going great, I think in that case you should save as much as you can, because you just don't know what the future has in store. Good example is a teacher I had back in high school. His family owned a farm, and he told us that the way you manage the finances of a farm is that whenever you have a good year and you have a bumper crop, you make a lot of money, but then there's bad years where you don't grow much and you lose lots of money. So the way the family farm survived is in the good years you saved as much as you could, and then in the bad years you had to spend the savings, and then hopefully you had another good year after that so you could rebuild your savings again. And this right here is a great example of how we can treat our personal finances. If you ever get yourself to a spot where you're stable, things are going well, you're paying your bills, go ahead and save as much as you can. Especially since you've seen how much inflation we had the past few years. Like the past 5 years alone, I've seen housing prices double and restaurant prices go up 50%. What if the same thing happens the next 5 years? I mean, hopefully not, but we just don't know. And so because the economy isn't doing so well, because a lot of people are having a hard time finding jobs, if you're someone that's having a good year, save as much as you can. We really have a responsibility to increase our savings rate as much as we possibly can. Like here at the Financial Optimist, I promote the minimalistic lifestyle. Live completely debt-free. Don't buy anything you don't need. That's what I do here. This house behind me here, I've already got it fully paid off, so I have no rent, I have no mortgage, and I only spend a few $100s per month. You can look at my July breakdown video. I show you how much I spend that month. And for this month, August, I'll be releasing that video in about a week here for how much expenses I had in the month of August. And again, it's well south of $1,000 I spent for the entire month, because I'm putting easily 90% of my paycheck into savings. I spend almost nothing, I save almost everything, because I just don't know what the future holds. Now, hopefully everything goes great. If I don't have a bad year, if every year is a good year, I'm on track to be a millionaire in about 10 years from now. If there's a bad year and I have to dip into my savings, well, it may take me a couple years longer, but I'll still do just fine. And so, if you're someone that, is in a bad spot now, work towards getting into a better spot. If you're in a good spot now, you're stable, save as much as you can. If you're thinking, hey, I just got that promotion at work. Should I upgrade to a nicer apartment? Should I upgrade to a nicer car? Should I eat out more often? The answer is no. Keep living the same affordable lifestyle you were doing before. That way, in case you lose the good paying job, you don't have to cut back later. For example, I know a guy, he went to school. He got himself a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He got well over $100,000 of debts. He graduated around 23, 24 years old. And, at the time he graduated, he made no changes to his lifestyle. He lived in the same cheap apartment he had in college, drove the same cheap car, ate the same cheap foods. He did not upgrade his lifestyle whatsoever. He lived like a broke college student throughout his entire 20s. And he was paying on those debts as fast as he possibly can. And then a few years later, COVID hit. Everything locked down, loans went into forbearance, and a lot of people had problems paying back their student loans. But because of the forbearance, he had an opportunity to finish paying off the last of his loans. So by the age of 30 years old, during all the pandemic lockdowns, he finished paying off all of his student loans. He became debt-free, and he was making $100,000 a year at the age of 30. He's doing really well. He now has got himself a house, he's working on paying off his mortgage, and in just a few more years, he'll have that paid off too. Because he's focusing on cutting back his lifestyle now to save money just in case there's a bad year in the future, because you don't know. Meanwhile, there's other people I know who live paycheck to paycheck, and I ask them, okay, you've seen the inflation the past 5 years. You know how much prices can go up. You know prices are going to go up again in the future, right? Like, there's no way prices stay the same. So, what's your plan to deal with increasing prices in the future if you can barely live paycheck to paycheck now? And they tell me the same thing. Oh, well, if prices go up, I'll just make a cutback to my lifestyle. Everything will be fine. Well, if you're willing to make a cutback to your lifestyle in a couple of years, why not make the cutback now and start saving the extra money? So when the higher prices hit us in the future, you're already good to go because you've been saving for years. And that right there is the key. People who live paycheck to paycheck have the mentality of, I must purchase the best lifestyle I can just barely afford. And if prices go up, only make the smallest of cutbacks possible to continue living the best lifestyle I can barely afford. But people out there who are genuinely wealthy and successful, they don't think this way. Their mentality is, what's the cheapest lifestyle that I can get that's barely good enough, and how much can I increase my savings rate? Because people who are wealthy focus on saving as much as they can. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much your income is, it matters how much your savings is. Let's say you're someone that makes $100,000 a year, you have a 5% savings rate, you only have $5,000 saved at the end of a year. What if you're someone that makes $50,000 a year with a 20% savings rate? You save $10,000 per year. So at the end of the year, who has more money? Well, the answer is the man who made $50,000 a year is richer than the man who made $100,000 a year, because he wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. He was saving as much as he could. The other man making six figures, yeah, he was saving something, but he could have done a lot more. And that right there is the key to financial prosperity. It is increasing your savings rate, cutting back on your lifestyle now while you're young, in your 20s, in your 30s. That way later on, in your 40s and your 50s, you can enjoy life better then. If you're someone that wants to live a great life now and have a great lifestyle when you're young, you certainly can. But when you get to be older, time to pay it all back. And that right there is the debt trap. They promise you a great life now, they don't tell you how much it'll cost you later. But if you're someone that's willing to live a more modest lifestyle now, you can have a great life later, so long as you're willing to cut back now. It's the idea of delayed gratification. I don't want to live a great life now, I want to live a great life later. I'm hoping to be retired by the time I'm in my 40s. The way to do that is to make cutbacks during my 20s and my 30s. That way I can have a great life later because I'm saving everything now. And so when people say like, oh, well, why don't you just get yourself a bigger house, a nicer house? Your house is 50 years old. Surely you can get something better than that. Certainly I could. I could go get myself a mortgage on any ordinary average house. I make enough money for that. But why? This house is plenty big enough for me. Sure, it's older, but works just fine for me. I don't need to make any changes to my lifestyle because I'm already at the low end in terms of how much I'm spending. And honestly, I have a pretty good life. I'm very content with how my life is now. I'm very pleased with my very high savings rate. And all I have to do is keep going for just a few more years, and I'll be able to retire decades ahead of everyone else. So I'd like to encourage you to focus on savings and focus less on lifestyle. If you have any questions, drop it below in the comment section. I'd love to answer them. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.